Okay guys, it's that time of the year again. It's Black Friday and you got some money to spend. I'm going to show you how I plan on spending my money. This year I want to put more of a focus on the creative side of plugins and sounds, just because I find my money is best spent on things that inspire new ideas and help me finish tracks. So let's start here in this project. And so this is an idea that was inspired by a few different new plugins. So the first thing is this little progression over here. Okay, so that was made with just basically making a big chord in Serum. And then what I did was I upgraded to the new Shaperbox 3, and I basically made a cool little pattern in there, rendered that out, and then did some more processing to create some cool, crazy effects. So I do think that this does definitely have some place in my toolbox of creativity, especially with all these cool little ideas that you can come up with. So let me just show you, for example, if we even just take this Shaperbox 3 and put it onto the main progression here. So you can see, you can probably just sit here for ages preset diving and come up with some cool like fills and ear candy ideas just by putting it on top of elements in your track that you've already come up with. Okay, so the next part of the idea is these little drum fills, not drum fills, synth fills. How I came up with this was using Echoboy. Okay, so what I did here with Echoboy was I put it onto a send. Here you can see it's on a send. And then I've used the LFOs within Ableton and mapped it to certain parameters here. So for example, we've got the note, the sort of the type or the echo time. You can see here that's switching very slowly. If I bring it up, it'll switch a bit faster. And this is randomly switching, so that the timing of the delay. Then I'm also bringing the feedback up and down. And then the style is also being randomized. So you'll see here it selects a different style each time. You can do that by just mapping it to where is the style. You can see all the different styles are being selected within here. Okay, so let me show you an example of how this would work in this case. So what I did was I've routed the main progression here to A. Let's just do that. And then we're just soloing it and listening to it. And then all I did was just solo this channel and render it out to a new channel. Okay, so do that for a bit, turn that off, and then you basically take this and you find parts of this recording that sound cool, like maybe that one, maybe you like that one, and then you basically just comp them into another channel. So yeah, Echoboy is on sale now. You can either get the Soundoys, like the full collection, which is £205, or just get Echoboy, which is $39. It's probably worth it to go get the full bundle because there are lots of cool creative plugins in there if you can afford it. Okay, the next creative plugin that I've been using and testing out is Tantra. So Tantra is basically like a big multi-effects unit. It contains a filter, distortion, delay, lo-fi, flanger, and a glitch module. And then it also has the kind of like a step sequencer. It's almost like a step modulator. And it uses these different kind of LFOs or sequences to control and modulate different parameters inside the each individual effect. And this is a really quick way to find like cool processing, sort of like what I've done with Echoboy, but this just has more options really. And what I really like about this is it has the randomize on each effect and on the entire thing. So you can, what we can do is we can do a similar thing here. We solo this, send it off to send here, and we'll just listen to this. Here we can just start clicking this random button. But yeah, I just find super handy, and I'm using it on everything from doing stuff like this to putting it on percussion to make interesting fills. Here you can see I did that with this snare. So that's my snare rooted, and I just got some really interesting sounds from that. You can also grab that from, I think, Plugin Alliance, was it? Yeah. And that's also a pretty decent sale at the moment. Big saving on that one. So definitely recommend that. I actually heard about it from Dowden, who uses it to make a lot of those cool like bass sounds that you hear in like sudbeat kind of tunes. Okay, so let's start talking about some other plugins. The next one is Sting. So this has not really got anything to do with Black Friday, but as we're talking about creativity, I thought I'd mention this. This is an acid pattern generator, and it's free to download from Ableton, so you don't have to spend any money. But if you were looking for something like a MIDI generator, then this is a plugin that I've been using a lot recently. So yeah, it's a Max for Live device, and it's made with the intention of making like sort of acid patterns, and it does a really good job of it. It's really simple, and it can also be used to do things like generate drum fills, and there's loads of tutorials on the internet on how you can do that. But I just wanted to give that sort of like an honorable mention. I'm not going to go in and show you any examples. I want to start talking about some of the other stuff, but I just wanted to mention that because it's free, and yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Basic Wavez is my preset sample pack label, and we're doing a sale. There's a few new products this year that have come out that are doing really well. Actually using one of them in this project, and I used it also in my recent release with Lauren Lamont, and that is the Melodic handpans pack. Here I've used it in the breakdown, so you can hear it over here. So these are just like handpan loops, and they all sound really good. Here's a sort of like modular one. And altogether they just build up to this really nice texture. You can also hear it in this track. That handpan loop that you're hearing there in the background, that's also from this sample pack. So yeah, that's Melodic handpans, and that's also 50% off now, off the whole shop. There's also a couple new courses. Well, the Project 21 is not very new, but it's a massive one with 20 project files, where I've written 20 tracks over 20 days. There's 20 live streams on it. And previously that was quite expensive for most people. It's now 50% off, and this is only going to last for another few days. So if this is something you're thinking about grabbing, I recommend getting it now. But yeah, check out the Black Friday sale. It's running until the end of the month. Okay, so the other thing I have over here is Ozone 11 Standard. So I haven't actually picked this up yet. It looks really interesting. I use Ozone 9 at the moment, and I use it quite a lot. I use it on every single track. It's my main limiter. So Ozone 11 would be the latest version. The reason why I haven't picked it up yet is I'm still torn between getting it Ozone 11 Standard here and upgrading my Native Instruments Komplete to 14. I'm currently on Komplete 11, and so you can see the update for me is only £89, and it includes, it doesn't show it here, but it includes Ozone 10. So it would still be an upgrade from Ozone 9, but I wouldn't be getting the latest Ozone 11, but I would be getting a ton of creative things that could spark ideas. You've got like percussion here and cool guitars and all these libraries that are included. So I just recommend basically deciding for yourself. Go log in at Native Instruments. If you have any of their products, check out what upgrades are available for you. This is quite a steal, I think. £89 for all of these things. It's pretty crazy. We've also got the Production Music Live is doing their annual sale too. And this is also a crazy bundle here, the Everything Bundle. And that looks like it's half price at the moment. And yeah, that includes pretty much everything that they have on the shop. It also includes a few of the basic Wavez products, but not all of them. I tend not to release the newer stuff with PML until a few months after it's been out on basic Wavez. So if you want any of the new things, you can still grab them from my shop and support me. Otherwise, yeah, you can get the Everything Bundle, which contains a crazy amount of products. Okay, so the last product I'm thinking of getting myself is this sequencer. I wanted to get a new sequencer anyway, and I found this sequencer on Plugin Boutique called SEQUND, and I also watched a video on it here by the creator of it, and there are a ton of cool features within this sequencer that makes me want to buy it, and I'll just quickly chat about a couple of them. So it's a pretty standard sequencer. If you look at it like sort of face value, it actually reminds me quite a bit of the one inside Pigments. So you've got gate, which is basically just telling the sequencer which notes to trigger, which measures to play, basically. So you get gate, hold, note length, chance, and these are all pretty standard within sequences. But what makes this one a bit more unique, I think, is that it has this pitch A and pitch B. So these are basically two different melodies, which you can generate randomly. And it has this probability between A and B. So you can either choose on each note, each measure, to play this melody or that melody, which can lead to interesting results in of itself, and especially because it's like a polyrhythmic sequencer. So you can basically, let's say you choose up, down here, and then you bring down the length of this lane. It's going to keep switching up, down, up, down. Basically, you can control the length of each one of these parameters. So that can lead to really interesting results. Then it also has this up-down arrow over here, which will either play the melody up here, or will either play A or B. So that's basically like probability, like a 50-50 probability, which can also lead to some really interesting melodies and ones that sort of evolve over time. I recommend just watching this whole video. I'll link it below. But it looks like a really interesting sequencer. I also really like that it has this locking to key. It has a bunch of scales that you can choose from. And it also has this cool transpose feature, which allows you to basically, during the sequence, switch between sort of intervals within. So you can transpose the whole melody within the scale that you're in. You can also transpose the actual scale, so you can switch between kind of scales. You can generate different patterns. So you could save like up to 12 different patterns here from my understanding. So just make 12 patterns that you really like. And then you can switch between those patterns as your track plays. And so you could get some really interesting, like evolving tracks over time if you're switching between patterns. And you can switch between those patterns just by using keys on your MIDI keyboard. So yeah, it looks like a kind of a sequencer that has everything that you would want it to have. And it's pretty cheap, has a nice interface. I just haven't tried it yet, so that's the only caveat over here. I haven't had time really to check it out, but I just wanted to mention it as I am planning on buying it and testing it out. I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, so that's that's pretty much everything that I have found interesting this year. Feel free to comment if you have found anything that's like super creative and groundbreaking. I know there's lots of things people have already mentioned to me, but I did check them out and nothing really quite grabbed my attention. It's just the ones I've mentioned here. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you next Black Friday. Peace.